Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast. It's me, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. And I have with me today, I am so excited to finally share Michel Huot with you. And you're like, wait, what is his name? He's French-Canadian, so Michel Huot is by trade a corporate magician specializing in customized magic for his clients around the world. He also gives memory workshops, again, around the globe. So imagine if you could greatly improve your memory just by attending a 2-hour workshop. Well, I'm going to tell you, you can, and especially with Michel. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jennie. How's it going? I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. I'm so excited because we met through BNI. So my BDSM crew, if they've been listening for any amount of time, they know that I'm a professional networker. I love networking. And you and I met through BNI, even though we're in different countries and have different primary languages, doesn't matter. We found a way to communicate.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, we go into BNI to make more business, and we do, but we make some global relation. That's amazing. That's wow.
I know. I love it. I mean, when I look back over 2020, because we're recording this in January of 2021, when I look back over 2020, because of the networking I was doing, I talked to people, and this is no exaggeration, in 7 countries outside of the US. Right. I spoke to people in, I think it was 30 different states over the course of 2020 when I went back and looked. I mean, literally all over the world, thanks to networking and the most amazing people. And you and I, we connected from the first moment that we had our Zoom 1-to-1. And I was just absolutely fascinated, first of all, by the fact that you do magic and then this memory workshop, which we've talked about it, but I don't know your process on it. So I'm hoping we can begin to explore that a little bit, to share why it is that people want to do it. But let's start with, first of all, how'd you get into magic and why memory?
Perfect. Yeah, and the two are connected. So I started magic through you know what? You talked about 2020 right now, and a lot of things opened because of the pandemic. And of course, the pandemic, sorry for the loss of everyone. Of course, we know what happened there and what's still happening. But it opened our eyes to the world. So sometimes through a tragic moment, we see something that we haven't seen before. And that's exactly what happened for me 26 years ago. My parents both died in 27 years ago, 4 months apart. And I, at the time, I thought that to be a magician, it was a gift. I really thought, and dumb me, but I really thought that it was real magic. And I remember I saw a magician not a long time ago after my parents died. And I saw the first magician. And I said, wow, that's amazing. Not because of the trick, but I took a step back while I was looking at him, and I realized that I haven't been watching him for 10 minutes, and I did not think of my parents once during that 10 minutes. And it was the first time that my mind was relieved of thinking about them. And I looked at all the other people around him, and I said, I don't know those people. They have their problems too, and no one right now is thinking of their problem. And I said, that's my goal in life. Well, not in life, but career-wise. I said, I will become a magician. And the next day I bought my first magic book. And funny story, not funny story is that The first magic book I bought was Mark Wilson's Course in Magic. Most people don't know who Mark Wilson is, but Mark Wilson passed away yesterday. So it's funny how we're talking about that right now. And I mean, he's like 90 something, but if it was not that first magic book, because that magic book is so incredible for all interested in magic, Mark Wilson's Course in Magic, and he just passed yesterday. So that's how I started magic. And then I started doing close-up magic stage shows for corporate field and so on. And about 18 years ago, Le Cirque du Soleil was hiring me 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year to do their corporate gigs and to all their sponsors. I was doing magic to their sponsors. So I was not a clown. I was not an acrobat. I was not doing magic in the tent where they have their shows, but all their private events. I was hired to do those, and that's, you'll see the segue that how I started memory. I remember once I was on a golf course. I was doing magic on a golf course. I was on one of the holes, and you see all the foursome go by. So I do magic to 4 people at a time every 3, 4, 5 minutes. And at one point, I remember a guy who stepped out of the cart, and he said, he came to me, and I said, "Wow, he looks like my brother. He looks so much like my brother." And my brother's name is Jocelyn. And I know, again, like Michel, for you guys, Jocelyn is a woman's name, but here it's a man's name. So very manly. But anyway, so I asked his name. His name is Jocelyn. So he looks like my brother, and he has the same name as my brother. And Justin is not a common name here. So my brain went like, wow. But I kept it for myself. So a year after that, Le Cirque du Soleil hires me again for the same golf tournament, same city. And I see that guy coming towards me. He has his driver and tee and ball in hand. I go to him and I say, "Hi, Jocelyn." And he went like, "Oh," his jaw dropped. He also dropped his tee, his ball, and his golf course. His golf
club.
Here we go. Mm-hmm. And sorry for my English, by the way, but sorry for my face, but that I cannot do anything about that. So yeah, he dropped everything, and he said, "Whoa, you remember me?" "Yes, I do." "You remember my name?" "Of course." And then he said, "Do you remember everybody's name?" And me being cocky, I said, "Of course." And then later that same day, I did magic after the golf tournament, magic at the cocktail party. And he stood on a stool and he said, "Sorry, everybody, sorry to disturb you, but I just want to let you know that Michel's magic is amazing. But there is something that is way more amazing than his magic. He remember everybody's name." And I said like, oh, what have I done? And I stood on the same stool and I said, "Yeah, actually I do." And that was my finale for my show today. But since Jocelyn just told you what my finale is, I won't call you by your name today. So I'll stick with magic. And then I went from there, and I thought to myself, when I came back home, I said, now, when he said to everyone that I knew everybody's name, everybody went, "What?" They were amazed, and they were more amazed than the magic. Then I said, if I could do that, that would be, I mean, magic would still need to be good, but my magic would be here. And the fact that I remember people's name would be way, way higher. And so I started working 17 years ago on the process. I read many things I did not like. And then I finally found something that now I'm sticking to it. I've been using it for many years, and I can remember 80 names. If I ask you, if I'm at a cocktail party right now, I will remember 80 names. Tomorrow, I will still remember the name. If you gave me a list of 100 objects, I will remember the 100 objects in 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 days if I want to. And then 2 years ago, I said, why am I keeping that to myself? And memory is way more than remembering your grocery list. Is way more than remembering your to-do list or your I don't know, your husband's phone number or whatever. It's way more than that. I mean, the memory, your memory is the basis of every relation. And what I say is, imagine you've got a daughter, you've got kids, you put them to sleep, you go to sleep, and then in the middle of the night, you lose 100% of your memory. The day after, your daughter goes in your bed. She's excited to see you. You wake up, you look at her, and you don't remember who that person is because you lost your memory during the night. Can you imagine the feeling? You have no clue who that person is. So memory is way more than just remembering your day-to-day things. It's the basis of all relation, and that's why it is hard when you see someone who has Alzheimer. That's why it's hard because you see that that person does not remember you. I mean, you've known that person for 35, 40 years, 50 years, and they don't remember you or anything you've done together. So yeah, that's and you know what Alzheimer is? I mean, everybody's putting their lives into their cell phones. And if you invite me to your place, you will just send me a link of your address. I click on it. I don't need to be present. My Facebook even reminds me of my souvenirs. I don't even need to remember my souvenirs because Facebook tells you, and so on. So it is tragic. It is tragic because people are losing their memory younger, and faster than before. And you've got to control. You've got to control over that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's that. Yeah.
I absolutely love this. And I've got to back you up on that because one of the things that I have learned about myself through networking is I don't know if you ever watched the David Letterman show back in the 80s and 90s, right? And he had a bit on his show called Stupid Human Tricks.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
The stupid human tricks, right? And so I regularly tell people my stupid human trick is I can almost always remember where I met you. I'm very good at remembering names, very good at remembering not just faces, but people's names. I'm not 100%, but I'm better than most. And it's that same thing that you were describing for Jocelyn on the golf course. You know, I'll walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, Jody, so great to see you again." And they're like, "You know my name?" Like,
Who are you?
I remember, like, and I can always see they remember my face, but they don't remember my name. And so that's why I always have a name tag on at events because I realize I'm I'm the oddball in being the person who can remember those things. But what it does is it does connect people to me much more quickly.
Yep.
And it's not that I do any of this on purpose. It's just become
You have it.
a part of who I am. And it's something that I've utilized over time. I think for me personally, it came from the fact that I grew up in the Air Force and we moved every 2 to 3 years. And we oftentimes would end up at an Air Force base with someone who we had been also at another Air Force base a number of years before. And so that going, oh, wait, we lived together at Omaha or in Minot or at Grissom or at Pete, like, you know, we have this association. And so because I knew that I might see people again, those names stuck in my head and their faces stuck in my head. And I have those memories associated with it. And, you know, I don't know if I use the same process. Heck, I don't even think about it. It just happens.
You probably don't even use a process. It's just there.
Oh, okay.
It's just there. Yeah. And it's, I mean, and you're probably very good with names and maybe very poor with birthdays, let's say.
Yeah.
And me, it's the same thing. I'm very bad with birthdays. Thank God for Facebook on this one.
Amen.
Amen. By the way, I understand why you're wearing a name tag because you want people to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But if you want people to remember your name, take off the name tag. Because then the brain becomes lazy. Because
True.
all it needs to do is look down and we have your name.
Yep.
So the brain becomes lazy. So whenever I do a cocktail party, close-up magic, and people are wearing name tags, I don't remember their names. So I try not to look at them.
Gotcha.
So
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There you go. So we've basically addressed then the importance of, why we should be utilizing memory, at least because everyone who's listening to this, my BDSM crew, they're in the business of people. So remembering the people that you meet is going to help connect you to them. So if there are people out there who are starting to go, okay, yes, I want to know other people's names. I want to have a better memory so that way I'm not, feeling disconnected, lost all the time. What are some easy, simple things? Because I don't want you to give away the whole workshop right now. But some easy, simple tricks that people can start utilizing now that will help when they get to your workshop pick up on your material faster. So what's a first step in getting a better memory?
All right. The very first step is to be present. We have so many things going on in our heads. We have so many, information is everywhere. We're always accessible and so on. So to be present is the first step. Most of the time when someone is talking to you, the person is, she's listening and she's looking at her cell phone. She's listening to, she's thinking about something. So to stop your brain, when I'm talking to you, Jenny, I'm talking to you. When I'm listening to you, I'm listening to you. So my shoulders are towards you. My feet are towards you. I'm not like that. I'm not like my shoulders are disconnected from you. So this is the first thing to do. If you want to remember people's names, the second step would be to say it out loud at least 2 times. So let's say I meet you for the first time in person, and let's say we are allowed to touch one another because now we just can't because of COVID. So my shoulders and feet are towards you. Everyone that's beside us is not important for now. They will be in a moment. I give you a handshake and I look at you straight in the eye and you tell me your name and I say, Jenny. So I'm saying your name right after you, Jenny. Did I hear it well? Jenny, yeah. Nice to meet you, Jenny. And what business are you in, Jenny? And then I don't want to overdo it, or then you look like someone who's selling a used car. Hey, Jenny, let me tell you this, Jenny here. Nah, this is way too much. So, Jenny, right? Okay, nice to meet you, Jenny. Blah blah blah. So now, twice. If I can do it, if I can say 3 times. Locked. It is locked. So that's it. And then I turn the other people, and now for a brief moment, you are not important anymore because now my shoulders and my feet are towards Mark. And Mark again registered. But most of people are giving a handshake and they're going, hi, or they're looking at the wine glass that they want to drink in a moment, and they're not present to the person right in front of them. So how can you remember them if you're not looking at them? The more senses that will be solicited.
Yeah. Utilized.
The more sense that you will use during the 1 second, the more chance you have of remembering the person. So if I see you, I touch you, I listen to you, I talk to you. I will not taste you, but maybe I will be able to smell you.
Right.
So,
I was just going to say that because I agree with you. At most networking events pre-COVID, people are focused on quantity of connection rather than quality of connection. And that is why they end up with not remembering who they met.
Exactly.
They'll be like, I met like 25 people at the 1 hour event. Oh, well, duh. First of all, that's your first problem. If you're networking at a 1 or 2 hour event and you're meeting 25, 30, 50 people, that is not beneficial because then it's all about you. What is beneficial is when I would rather go to a 2 hour event and have 5 great conversations.
Oh yeah.
And really get to know somebody and be like, I feel like we should keep this connection going. Can we go out to coffee sometime? Can we go to lunch? Can we have a Zoom conversation? Right?
Totally agree. I've got another workshop. It's on networking, and and I say, do you have goals when you go to a networking event? Because most people say, "All right, I'm gonna bring business cards," and they have a stack of them, and they here you go. They
Yep.
basically like
Like a poker dealer.
Exactly, exactly. I bring between 5 and 7 business cards, and I usually come back home between 4 and 6. And I've got always the same 3 goals. One, I want to connect with one person that will be able to connect to do business with. Second, I want from those people I meet, I want to give a referral to someone in my BNI. And I want to invite someone in that group to my BNI. These are my 3 goals. If the same person I can have the 3 goals with, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I don't need to be there anymore. My family needs me more than they need me. And I will leave. And I'm not there to have free lunch or free wine. At those networking events, there's always, I call that I don't know if it's a good word in English, a networking gluten.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. You always see one of them. So if you go back home and you're not hungry, you're the networking gluten.
Well, in English, we say glutton, right?
Glutton. Yeah.
Glutton, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's the same thing, right? So if you were sitting, if you went to a networking event and you were eating and drinking and not networking, again, there's one of your problems with that. So I think this whole piece of attention, being present is a big deal, because you did bring up the fact that we're on the phone and we're not focused on the person in front of us. And I think that's one of the big differences between when I go out and network and the next time I see someone at an event, that they feel more connected to me. It's amazing how quick, because they feel like I actually paid attention to them, because I realize one of my issues is ADD. And so I hyper focus on the person that I'm with, because I want to make sure that I'm not letting all the other distractions. So I'm intentionally doing my best to tune out what's going on.
Yeah.
I have my phone on silent, assuming that my kids are okay, hanging out with their dad or grandma or whatever. But I've got my phone silenced so I can focus on people. I don't want to be that person checking my phone at an event. I don't want to be that person. I went to an event to meet people, to connect. And so that's where I think the beginning pieces is just the mindset of knowing what you're there for, and looking for the quality of connection rather than the quantity
Definitely.
of connection.
My phone, I don't even put it on silent mode. I leave it in the car because it's so easy. It's so easy. You've got when you're 1 minute alone, you feel like you're rejected, so it's so easy to go like this and pretend. So now it's so easy. So to make sure I don't go on it, because you never know what the other person will be. Maybe someone was coming towards you and they saw you pick up the phone and they're turning around.
Yeah.
So I take it, leave it in the car. And one of my goals, by the way, is to come back before the first period has ended in a hockey game.
I love that. And for Americans, if you don't have a hockey team where you are, that means he's spending maybe 15, 30 minutes at an event, plus the drive home. But luckily, with all of our networking events happening on Zoom right now, you can have a couple of great connections and then go grab your beer and watch the hockey game with your kiddo, right? I love it. So these tips, they start with being present, making sure that you repeat their name a couple of times. And I realize now that's what I'm doing, because I'm doing the same thing, because I also have an auditory processing disorder. So I want to make sure that I heard their name properly. It's not that there's anything wrong with my hearing. It's just my brain doesn't always connect to my ears the right way. Right. So I want to make sure that I am saying the name properly. I'm making sure, how do you spell that? So then I also have the visual thing in my head, because I know with my name being Jennie, Jennie, which is not the normal way to spell Jenny. Most people spell it with a Y. So then I'm also letting people know, oh, I'm Jenny with an IE. And they go, oh, okay. So that also helps people remember my name a little bit better, right? So that's the visual piece. And then you also said utilizing the different senses. And I would highly recommend, if you can, associate a scent with a person, even if you can't smell it in the moment, be like, ooh, this person reminds me of strawberries. So like your brain, what strawberries smell like. So when you meet them again, you're going to be like, ooh, strawberries or whatever. Like
mnemonics. Yeah. It's a different kind of mnemonics. I use mnemonics to remember people's name or to make association with people. You know what? By working your short-term memory, you are also working on mid and long-term. So at first, I needed to do mnemonics for everybody, all the time. Now, you just tell me your name, and in 5 hours, if I see you, hi Jenny, hi Mark, hi whatever. And honestly, when I do a show right now, well, not right now because it's on Zoom, but when I do a show, I will do some close-up magic during cocktail. Then they will have dinner for 2.5 hours. Then I will start my show. And the last piece I do, let's say there's 70 people, I say for the last act tonight, it's for all of you. It's for you, Jenny. It's for you, Mark. For you, Holly. For you, Virginia. And I will start naming everyone. So imagine some would say, wow, yeah, but that's very long and boring. No, it's not boring because the first name, okay, yeah, it's not going to say everyone. Second name, and okay, now, no. Will you remember me? And of course, I will remember you. So, and then you say the name, and then I usually say something like, I don't remember your name, sir. And it's funny because usually it would be the CEO, and it's the last name I say, of course. So you remember everybody's name. So what do you think? What magic trick do you think people are talking about the most after your 30-minute show? It's not the fact that you made, I don't know, their wallet disappear and appear in an orange or whatever. It's the fact that you remember their name. And that's the strongest magic trick you can do.
I love it. And being in the people business, guys, like I said, it's all about relationship and connection. And that starts with a simple thing of knowing someone's name. And so, I highly recommend. I've had the pleasure and the honor of getting to know Michel over the last few months. And I have not yet been able to participate in this memory workshop, but I can't wait because if I've already got this decent of a memory with names, imagine what else I'll be able to accomplish when utilizing your process.
At the outcome of the workshop, you would be able to, let's say your husband takes 20 random objects in your home and he puts them on the floor and he puts number 1, 2, 3 on. You will take the 20 objects in 1.5 minutes, let's say 2 minutes in your head. Now he puts a curtain on top of it, whatever. And then 2 hours or 1 day or 2 days after, what's number 17? Boom. What's number 13? Boom. What's number 1 to 10? Do. And I do it now in my memory workshop at the beginning. I ask questions 1 hour after they saw the objects, and they remember 3 to 4 objects.
Wow.
And after they remember 48 objects out of 48.
That's amazing. I think that's just phenomenal. Well, BDSM crew, I am really happy because Michel has given a very kind offer, which is he's offering $25 off of a ticket to one of his upcoming memory workshops. So what you're going to do in order to get this is you are going to go to Michel's website, which we will have listed in the show notes with an upcoming event. And we're also going to include the coupon code for the BDSM crew. So that way you guys will get the memory workshop at $25 off. Thank you so much, Michel. That's so kind.
Thank you. Always a huge pleasure for me to see you on Zoom or anywhere.
Well, so far it's all been on Zoom, but eventually, eventually, I think given the fact that we're both BNI, we've had such a great connection. I think one of us is going to end up probably in the other city sometime once it's safe. And I'm fairly certain I'm going to end up in Montreal and you're probably going to end up in St. Louis because, man, we are having so much fun collaborating.
Yeah.
So, Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing this basic starter memory information, because this is going to make a big change for these listeners.
Thank you, Jenny, for everything you do, and BDSM crew. I'm looking forward. Meeting you.
Oh, he's getting all verklempt.
Oh man, I'm getting emotional. No, I just need to take some water. I don't know what happened here.
It's this dry winter air, I think, what it is. So, Michel, thank you.
It's not so dry here.
No, not so much. Oh, it's dry here in St. Louis. So, well, thank you so much, Michel. We so appreciate your time, your comedy. Oh my gosh, I love laughing with you and sharing this information. So,
thank you, Jenny.
Absolutely. So BDSM crew, you guys know how this goes. Make sure you check the show notes, grab your phone, as long as you're not driving, grab your phone, click on the episode, scroll up, go find that link, go use that code to get into Michel's memory workshop, and stay tuned because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.